Right, quick audio check real quick because I am going to try to figure out the audio only recording. Give me 2 seconds and then we will be on our way. I promise. The audio only recording. All right, we're good. Okay, welcome back to the Death by Tyranny podcast. I know it is in the middle of the night and I can't seem to lock down a certain time slot. But for the purposes of the listener and the convenience, I guess, more or less, we are going to try to structure things a little bit better here. So I'm going to be talking about, or I'm going to let you know what I'm talking about right out of the gate before I get into any of my little side rants. And the biggest disappointment, I guess, will be that it being in the middle of the night, nobody will get to watch this live, which is unfortunate. I enjoy the live interaction and commentary from you guys, so that sucks, but this is going to be one that you want to watch. It might be a little intense, and I'm probably going to hurt a lot of people's feelings with no real intent to do so. It's just because we all need to hear it. So, the main theme of this podcast today is going to be how everyone that you look up to, whether it be political commentators or Instagram influencers, YouTubers, trainers, Navy SEALs, all the above, other than Jesus Christ himself, they are all lying to you. And no one is really saying what needs to be said as far as the government and its tyrannical overreach, and everyone combating that with, we need to save America. I want to save America. We need to change America. I hate to break it to you guys, but they're all full of shit, and we're going to get into that. Uh, so with that out of the way, just the one little few housekeeping thing I will run by you guys is hopefully the podcast will transfer the audio to my computer so that I can get this on Spotify and you can have a little bit better audio listening experience. Unfortunately, I don't have my camera, my main Sony camera that I usually shoot on. That's why the video is formatted the way that it is. Uh, I can't say the name of my employer or people who work there, but it is the only place I have ever worked for that is a billion-dollar company that can't seem to get their fucking payroll in order. And so that camera will probably be in pawn for a while because I didn't get paid. So with that out of the way, if you would like to contribute or help the podcast get back to its original format faster, feel free to DM me or contact me at any of the platforms that I'm on, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, yada yada. They're all at Death by Tyranny or death_by_tyranny on Instagram. And for the fortunate ones that know me in person, have access to my personal Facebook with my name, which we will leave out for now. It's not that I'm hiding it. It's just I don't feel that it's very necessary. The people that see this on Facebook, they're already on my friends list, so it's kind of, pointless. Anyways, so the concept that I'm trying to drive here, the idea is that we're going to have lots of um, examples. What I'm trying to get at here. So pretty much, you have a lot of people in a lot of different industries, whether they say they are politically driven or not, are using politics and the downfall of America and our freedoms and our way of life to fill up their bank accounts. We know that politicians are evil people, and that what they are doing right now is trying to maintain their power as long as possible, whether what they are doing is right, legal, or otherwise, and they are keeping for themselves and trying to steal from us as much silver and gold off of the ship before it totally sinks and we are all doomed. They have already put into place a program for the American people that is going to end us, our country, and our way of life. But what is worse than that? What is worse than that is people who are so brainwashed that they actually think they are doing good for us, that they are combating the tyrannical government and trying to save the American people and their loved ones and their friends, but they're not actually doing a damn thing except for trying to connect with your emotions. They see that you're frustrated and scared and want to hold on and save America. And they say that they're just like you. And some of them are even attacked by the media and the federal government because they're getting close. But they're not there. They haven't hit the nail on the head. When people come out and say, especially the political commentators or podcast or YouTubers or whatever it may be, when they come out and they say, I'm being censored because I'm telling the truth. They are saying things that the federal government doesn't want you to know, but they are not saying anything that is combating the federal government and what they are able to do and stopping them from being tyrannical. Just because they've had items seized or their social medias shut down does not mean they are actively fighting the federal government. What they are fighting is their ability to reach out into the world and literally grift, the actual definition of grifter. And the really pathetic thing really is that some of these people will call out other people for being grifters, using chaos and fear, and trying to say that I'm one of you. You can trust me because I believe what you believe. And that very well may be the case. Maybe they do believe what you believe. Maybe they want to save America as well. But they're not doing anything about it. That's the thing. What do you, on a personal level, think is actually going to save this country? A lot of conservative and right-wing minded people, even a lot of libertarian minded people, think that voting is corrupt now. That they have found a way to manipulate the system in any and every way possible, whether it be through machines, maybe not, but most certainly through the information they are allowing people to receive to influence who or what they vote on. They are openly doing this. The people who run the social media sites have come out and told you that they do this. So we are all now aware that the voting, the process that we use in America to change things, to progress as a society, while maintaining our freedoms and liberties, may be lost. But yet, all of these social commentaries are pushing for the next political candidate. They are telling you to donate to the cause. Go out, grassroots efforts, and spread the good word of these new politicians that are going to save us. This is all a lie. The federal government will continue to take whatever they can and allow you the freedoms they want you to have. That is the country that we live in. Do you have freedoms? Yes. More than most? Probably. but you only have the freedoms that the federal government wants you to have. Now, right wing and libertarians, for the most part, have less freedoms right now because we have a Democrat in office. Once we get a Republican in office, maybe the left wing will have less rights. I doubt that very much because Republicans, right wings, conservatives, they always want to do the right thing. Even if they are being beaten to death, they refuse to stand up and fight. They talk a mean game when they are talking to you and trying to plead and ask for your contributions to their bank accounts, not to their cause, because their cause doesn't mean a fucking thing. None of this will save you. Now, I know what you're thinking. I already knew this. But I still enjoy watching these commentators time from time. Good on you. Be glad that you still know where to find these commentary hosts and shows. Because if the federal government really didn't want you to see it, to find it, you would not. This idea in your brain that right-wing commentators are finding a way, even through all of the censorship, and this is combating the federal government, is bullshit. If the federal government wanted you to stop listening to Alex Jones, they would snuff him out completely. One man, one group even, is no contest to the federal government. And now I will get to the others. Your preparedness mindset people, your tactical trainers, Navy SEAL, vet bros, veteran community that has come together to train civilians to save our country. This is all bullshit. See, the preparedness mindset, I kind of get, and there are, in a lot of ways, good qualities to the preparedness in the people that are preaching this fieldcraft and homesteading idea. This is good. This is a way to limit your interface with the federal government. But the idea that you will disconnect completely is absurd. There is no such thing in this country. If you have 100 acres, grow all of your own food, the federal government can still go in and change legislation, manipulate people, get that bill passed, and then come to you with a piece of paper from the federal government and say, all of your land, all of your food is ours now. And you can't do a damn thing about it. So to think that on an individual level, we can combat and disconnect from the federal government's power is absurd. So if you buy into this preparedness, this homesteading idea, it's a good idea. And on an individual level, it is good for you. Like I said, it limits the interface you have with the federal government. But any of those people who you are watching and listening to for preparedness say that they are helping save this country, that this is the way to combat the federal government, they are wrong. They are lying to you. Now, let's get to the tactical community, the 2A advocates. A lot of them come onto Instagram and say, I am a 20-year Navy SEAL veteran, retired, and my company's mission is to train civilians. So in the event that the federal government comes after them, they can defend themselves. Okay. But understand that your dollars paying for that training, your time listening to that content is wasted. Because here's the thing. Every single one of those veterans, all of those badass Ranger sniper motherfuckers will tell you that violence is not the option, or if it is, it's the last one, and that we should try every means necessary and that is available to us to fight the tyrannical government. Yet, here we are in 2022, more civilians trained on preparedness, homesteading, survival, tactical advantages, CQBs. More civilians own military style weapons, right? We have all this cool gear we take pictures with and show off, and we're ready. We're almost as bad as that Navy SEAL that we gave thousands of dollars to train us. But when are you going to use it? When the federal agents come knocking on your door? That's the last straw. That's your line in the sand. That is when you are going to be able to actually use all of this gear and violence that you have dedicated yourself to learning and buying all of these years. You're joking. You actually think that when those federal agents come to your door that you're going to do something? All of these operators, all of these influencers will talk a mean game about how the snake just wants to be left alone. And if you fuck with the snake, it will bite you. But if you're just one snake and it's the federal government that's fucking with you, it will stomp on you and you will be dead. It doesn't matter if you train to bite. It doesn't even matter if you will bite when the federal agents knock on your door. They will still kill you. And because they manipulate the 99 other Americans that make up the population, they will never hear about you biting the federal government. They will never hear about how heroic and how many years you trained, how prepared you were for the collapse of the economy. That is not saving America. It will not save America. All of this time is wasted because the federal government will kill you. So how do we change this? And I want to give a good example before we go on to what we actually do to combat this. There's a page on Instagram called Counting Coup Tactical. If you would like to follow them, it's actually a very good follow. He's very insightful. I believe mostly Monday mornings he comes on and does a live, and he spreads his knowledge on a lot of things: life, automobiles, tactics, freedom mindset, all kinds of things that can potentially help you on an individual level throughout your life. So it's a good follow. And he posts pictures of cool guns and cool gear and, just badass shit to look at. But none of what he says is going to save you. And I genuinely like following this guy. I think that he is on the right track. But like I said, they just can't hit the nail on the head. So I'm going to read you his last post, which was actually a very good post. But I still see the issue that I'm talking about here. It says, well, first off, you can't see the picture. I don't have my camera, so I can't, share screens or whatever. But just picture what you think a Navy SEAL looks like. Has the night has the night vision goggles, the helmet, the plate carrier, a camo spray painted gun, nice, $3,000-$4,000 optic, all of your military attire, tactical gloves. And he says, this is what 99% of the U.S. military and law enforcement does not look like. This is what an impressive number are an alarming number, depending on what side of the aisle you sit on, of American civilians is looking like. He is correct. 99% of the military does not look like this. I would be willing to bet that zero law enforcement looks like this. But there are tons of civilians and ex-military that have contributed their money and their time and their efforts to training and buying the gear that they would need to go to fucking war. And that's what they look like. They look like they're prepared to go to fucking war. All right. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. And it shows what dedication to training and commitment to the spirit of the individual, keyword there, individual and or group. He's talking about a small group, I would imagine. We look menacing, determined, kosher. We also look calm and are reserved in our convictions. We don't look aggressive, but instead, we look humble and ready and waiting for the F-15s that Joe Biden spoke about. Don't tread on me has lost its meaning with all the dumb stickers and loudmouths who take it as a war cry, when in fact it speaks volumes to who we really are. The snake who is comfortable with what he has and will bite when messed with. Stay calm, stay collective, stay vigilant in what's going on, and stay humble or determination to not lose any of what is rightfully ours. I might have messed that up a little bit. The screen's kind of fuzzy far away. But you get the concept, what he's saying. He's saying that the civilian population more and more is preparing to defend itself from a tyrannical government. There you go. He is on the right track. He has the right mindset. He himself has even been to war and is very trained in the tactics and spirit, mindset of violence when it is necessary. But then he follows it up with individual level and to pretty much just stay vigilant. Be ready, determined to not lose anything that is yours. This is what all of these people sound like. When is the time that we use all of this shit? Do we just forever stay calm? And most of these people, if not all of these people, will say, we're training, we're prepared for when they come to our door to protect myself and my loved ones. Is that going to save America? Did I not just explain this? If the government comes to your door, you're dead. The most capable, impressive, baddest motherfucker who has ever served the U.S. military, that is retired, that has this spirit and this freedom mindset and is training civilians. They will tell you the time to use all of this training is when they come for you. That is the key word there. When they come for you. How many fucking times do you guys need to hear, hey, they came for them and I didn't do anything. Then they came for the union workers. I didn't do shit. But then they came for me and there was no one left. That is what this mindset leads to. You deploy all the trainings and tactics and gear and violence on the federal government when they come for you. But when they come for you, it's too fucking late. There is nobody on an individual level or even a smaller group, 40, 50 guys that train on the weekends. And how many of those are there actually? Maybe a handful. There's not a lot. And at any given time, the federal government is spying on us, so they could hit each and every one of those groups individually on a personal level at their homes and kill them. So, what is all this gear and training for? What it is going to take to save this country is us to actually face and combat the federal government, not on just a group level, but on a massive scale. What happened on January 6th is how they've been taking care of us so far on an individual level, tricking us into things that will imprison us or get us shot so they can kill us one by one. They take other instances and other stupid people that they trick into doing things with certain things so then they can take them away. So if your line in the sand is when they come for you, that is too late. That will not save this country, and it's not even going to save your ass. What is your line in the sand? Really? Because I promise you, it will never get there. You will keep moving that line. You know what Joe Biden thinks of your line? Fuck your line in the sand. I will move it as far back as I want, and I will do whatever it takes to hold this power, and you won't do shit about it. And I'm not just saying that for the cool tactical community. I'm talking about every single one of us. Every commentator that gets on at 11 o'clock at night and preaches this mean game about spreading knowledge and trying to save this country through politics and promoting other politicians, they're full of shit. We should be willing to stand up and fight and combat the federal government with violence. And some people might even say that, but what they won't say is when. When is it time to combat the federal government with violence? It's whenever they're tyrannical. And guess what, motherfucker? They're tyrannical. They've been tyrannical for a long fucking time, and they're going to keep doing it. And we think we are progressing and being more prepared and more capable of violence, but the federal government's laughing at us. We see you, but you won't do shit. Fucking pussy. And now that we see what you guys are up to, we are going to make it illegal. And you're not going to do a fucking thing about it. What's your line in the sand? Is it the assault weapon ban? When are you going to do something about it? Because they've already passed it. They're this close to putting it into law. Your children will not know what it is like to be able to own military-style weapons to combat a tyrannical government. So when are you going to stop it? How are you going to stop it? This November, we think a red wave's coming. What if it doesn't? Biden needs 2 more seats, and he very likely might get it. He got the fucking White House, so what makes you think that he's not capable of getting those 2 seats that he needs to pass the assault weapon ban into legislation? Now we've lost even the guns that he says will not defeat the federal government, and he's right. If he really wanted to come out and speak truth, and not just truth in manipulative words, because that's what he did. You won't beat the federal government with your guns. You're not going to combat F-15s with what you think is your preparedness and your tactics. It will not defeat the federal government. And then we come back with what? Afghanistan did it. The Taliban did it. They did it in Vietnam. We don't need F-15s to defeat the federal government. But here's the thing. They didn't just use guns. And they damn sure didn't wait until the federal government showed up at their door while they were in bed sleeping so they could get smoked before they could even fucking lift their body up out of bed. They all came together. as a fucking community and said, no, this ain't happening. And that is what we have to do. We have to stop waiting for the ATF to show up and try to take people's solvents traps that were purchased legally and now are illegal. You think sharing a couple videos is going to save this country? Is going to disband the ATF? Are you fucking crazy? That isn't doing shit. Showing you or showing others and showing the federal government that you're outraged, the only thing it is doing is showing them you're outraged. It has not made them move one fucking inch. In fact, they are taking leaps forward. They are becoming so ballsy and out in the open. So when? Like I said, if you're waiting for them to show up at your door on an individual level, and all these people that we look up to and look for guidance say, we're only going to defend ourselves. Well, guess what? We're already defending ourselves. We are already under the thumb of a tyrannical government. How much more fucking tyrannical do they need to be before we go violent? And I know. Nobody wants the violence. Nobody wants war. You don't know what war looks like. If you did, you wouldn't want it. Nobody said we wanted fucking war. I don't want to die. And I'm sure most of the people that are like-minded like myself, that believe in conservative values and want to save this country, they probably don't want to die either. So this isn't a war cry. But what I'm trying to tell you here is there is no other way. You said that violence was the last option. Well, everything we have tried does not work. In fact, most of the things we have tried has made it worse. They have increased their efforts to be tyrannical tenfold. So why do we keep saying violence is the last resort? Why don't we say violence is the option before it is too late? Because if you ask me, it's too fucking late. We have already been conditioned as civilians, even people in the military, all of us. People who have seen war, people who haven't seen war, people who believe in guns, people who don't. We are all conditioned that you will not act upon your violent instincts to save yourself until they are at your door. Nobody is willing to come out and say, we have to stand up to them. All of us. It's a numbers game. I've said this 1,000 fucking times. But the government wins in the numbers game. Let me tell you why. And I don't know why we keep tilting the number games into our favor. Yes, there are probably 100 million people that want to save this country, that own guns, that somewhat have something to contribute to the fight. In the military, what, a couple thousand maybe that are capable of committing violence and actually going to war? But the government employs people that will actually do violence to carry out the mission and to kill you. The only thing those 80 million Americans will do is train for it and say that it's the last resort, but they will not act. So why do we keep tilting the number game into our favor? There is probably less than maybe 100 people that would say, yeah, let's get together. When the FBI shows up at somebody's door, we will go there. We will call them out. There's tons of technology. We can get to the people that need to say it and say, hey, if you come back, if you keep sending out ATF agents to people's homes, we will be there. And you will have to kill us before we leave. None of this means we have to go to Washington, D.C. and start burning down the White House and just openly killing politicians. That's what they want you to think. That's why it is so easy for them to call us terrorists, domestic terrorism, right wing extremists, because in their mind, when they think combating and defeating a tyrannical government, they think all these people geared and kitted out are going to show up in Washington and just start fucking killing everybody. That is not the case. But what we need to do is show up like the people did on January 6th. We don't have to go into the Capitol. We just need to show up no matter what, because they will stop people gathering in masses when there is 50,000 people on one fucking lawn. They will prevent that. We have to do it anyways. The only thing we have to do is show up and say, you're not doing this anymore. No fucking assault weapon ban. That's not happening. You're not going to force medical procedures on us. That's not happening. And every single time that you try to do it, we will combat you. We will be there, and we will be an unmovable force. We don't need to take the first shot. But notice I didn't say a damn thing about not being violent. I didn't say wait until they show up to your door. I said, no, we go meet them where they are and say, you're not doing this. You're not showing up to people's doors and killing them one by one. That will never happen again, because we are united as Americans, and we have trained. And we are not only trained and have access to weapons, but we are willing to use them. You will have to take the first shot. We will not. But after that shot rings out, we will be here to fight for freedom to the death. Now, is that the ideal scenario? Absolutely not. I wish it wouldn't have gotten this far. But I mean, deep down, really, what do you think is going to take to save this country? Do you think anything is going to save this country? Do you think we're at our last options? The federal government has been doing what they want by force and by killing people overseas and here in the States. They are willing to do what it takes to continue out everything that they have been doing that is tyrannical. So the only thing to stop something that is being forced upon us is force. If you're being shoved, the only way to not lose your balance is to maintain and push back. This idea of Americans today, we say and we tell our children, when you get bullied at school, you kick his ass. And plenty of us know that that's the way to stop the bully. You punch him in his fucking face. Even if you get your ass kicked, you still show him you're not going to put up with this. You don't continue to show up and be bullied, because that's what all of us are doing right now. Even the most outspoken of us all. The only thing we're doing is showing up and being bullied. Nobody is willing to fight. Nobody is willing to throw that punch to show that bully that will kick its ass. The Second Amendment is just a concept. It doesn't mean shit because nobody is willing to use it. There's been a lot of people in the Second Amendment community or whatever that say, hey, these guns are for killing people. So when you get on there and say, oh, you can kill 1,000 people in 10 minutes, so what? That's what they were made for. That's what the U.S. government does with those guns as well, is fucking kill people. That's what they were designed for. Not for hunting, not for sport, not for fucking going out and plinking on the weekends. But what we need to change is when we're saying this shit, it's not just for self-defense either. Carrying concealed is a great idea, might even save your life. But carrying concealed at an individual level and being willing to use deadly force once someone attacks you or people around you only does so much. But that is not saying the reason we have a Second Amendment is to combat the federal government, is to stop them from being tyrannical. They're being tyrannical. At what point do we use it? It's now. It's been now. It was fucking decades ago. But conservatives and Republicans, libertarians, all of them refuse to actually do what needs to be done to stop them. So we're all just wasting our time and money. If you want to learn how to fish, cool. It's not going to save this fucking country. If you want to be prepared and stock up on batteries and food and yada, 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 awesome. You don't have to worry about your electric going out in the winter, but guess what? It's not going to save your fucking country. If you want to train civilians so they are prepared to defend themselves, stop lying to them and say, I'm training you to defend yourself against somebody robbing you or raping your wife, but not to save this country, not for your freedoms and liberty, because when it comes to your freedoms and liberty, I'm not willing to stand behind you or stand beside you, or better yet, since I'm the one preaching this big game about how I fought overseas for everybody's fucking freedoms, I will stand in front of you. None of them will fucking say that. And because they won't say that, we're not going to save this country. So when is Alex Jones? When are all these people being canceled if they have to speak the truth and come out? When are they going to start saying we need a way to gather massive amount of people that are prepared for war to fight the federal government? We will not throw the first punch, but we will be damned if we don't go down fighting. And they have done enough. They have overreached enough to provoke the point where we actually use the Second Amendment. When they say that killing FBI agents, IRS agents, whatever, ATF, whatever, is a crazy idea, they're not lying. For you to go out as an individual to an FBI headquarters with a fucking nail gun, that's crazy. That's suicide, and it will not save your country. But neither will anything else. Voting's not going to save us. None of these fucking influencers, none of these fucking retired Navy SEAL guys, none of them. Even the people coming out and telling you all the shit that the fucking federal government's doing wrong, that's not gonna save you. We have to fight back. And when we start, they're gonna try to stop it. If I had 100,000 followers right now and I said all 100,000 of us need to gather in Washington, D.C. with our firearms, show them we don't give a fuck about their fucking unconstitutional gun laws, their fucking gun-free zones. We're going to march up there and we're going to tell Joe Biden on the lawn of Congress, we will not stand for this as the American people. You might bully 100 of us, but you will not bully all of us, and we're not going anywhere. That's what has to happen. And as crazy as you might think it sounds, as much as you don't know what war looks like. If you've seen war, you wouldn't want it. I wish, man. I fucking wish. I don't want to die. I don't want war. But that's the only way we get out of this. There's too many sayings that all these fucking 2A Punisher skull wearing motherfuckers say that they don't even know the meaning of it. You know, you lose your rights, but you gotta fucking shed blood to get them back. Yeah. And it's that fucking time, buddy. Sometimes the fucking tree of liberty needs watered with the blood of patriots and tyrants. Yeah, guess what? It's that fucking time. If you really think that America, and no dynasty in the history of Earth has lasted more than 250 years, is going to continue past that point without something like what our forefathers had to do to even make this shit happen, you're insane to begin with. Another saying that we've heard 1,000 times: history repeats itself. If it doesn't, it rhymes. Yeah. And guess what? It's that fucking time. Things are starting to fucking ring a tune and rhyme, my friend. But yet, people want to make the people that are coming out and saying these things seem like we're the crazy ones. If not now, when? After they take the guns? Is that the last straw? Is that when we're all going to rise up? If not now, are we going to rise up after there is no right-wing male because they forced us all to neuter and make our boys transgender? Is that the time? After there is no masculinity left in the United States, you think that's when we're going to rise up? They're taking our guns. They've been taking our guns. They are now monitoring and spying and limiting our ability to gather. So gathering is going to be an issue now. And they will try to stop it. They are already making sure masculinity is gone in America. They are already allowing people to literally chop off our children's genitalia. So do you have a line in the sand? Because I don't think you do. Because I'm telling you, whatever you think your line in the sand is, they're already doing it. So it is truly time to push the petty shit aside and say, do you believe in our freedoms and liberty here? And if you do, are you willing to die for it? Because you not only need to have that opinion, but you need to show that that is the case. And, that I've explained this 1,000 times, and maybe it won't actually seep into people's heads until I get a little bigger following. I don't know. Help me. Share this. They are coming. They have been tyrannical. And they will kill us one by one. They will take our guns one by one. Death is inevitable. Do you want to die from tyranny, or do you want to die a free man? Because nobody in the United States is dying free anymore. I think we are at the hour mark. I wish, and I don't know how else to explain this, because I didn't serve. I'm just a dumb civilian. So maybe my opinion can just get shoved right up my ass. But I don't want my children to have to be the ones that actually stand up. And I don't even know if the federal government will allow me to make sure that my children have the things that they need and will be able to maintain the mindset to even stand up and fight when it is their time. I don't want war, but more than that, I don't want war and I don't want people to die. I don't want my children to have to make that decision. And that is inevitable at this point. They have grown so ballsy over time that they will come out and flat out tell you. This is the percentage of white Americans today, and we are going to make sure that in 20, 30 years, they are the minority. They have literally told you that they are attacking your heritage and your race. They have already censored most of our beliefs and our morals. Christianity is banned from schools, but gender reassignment surgery is not. What crazy fucking catastrophic shit has to happen before you will stand up for your children? And going to town hall meetings, going and shouting at the top of your lungs in Congress, that's not doing it. We've already tried that. In fact, when we do things like that, when we just drive close enough to the edge, when we show up and shout and demand shit, we're right there. But they still won't stop. So it is time to escalate our level of defense. If they continue to be tyrannical, what we've already asked, we've already demanded, we've already tried the proper and safe non-violent routes. Now it is time to just stop this shit. There's no other way to say that, and everybody else is too afraid to say that. The people that are joining the FBI today do not believe in your freedoms and liberty. The people that are in special forces right now that would, on a fucking drop of a dime, show up at your house and execute you, they don't believe in your freedoms and liberties. They believe in orders. They believe in a paycheck. They believe in showing up and bullying people in other countries to make them do what they want them to do. That has nothing to fucking do with freedom. To show up to somebody's culture and say, you guys can't do any of this shit anymore, it's bad, and it's not what we believe in. And even though you guys believe in it, we're going to kill you until you change. That's not freedom. That's not even democracy. Freedom is, if that's the fucking way they want to live, leave them alone. And we are already to a point in the United States where they will never leave us alone until we make them. With that, guys, you know I love you. I truly dread the day that it comes to the point where there are thousands of us battling knee deep in blood, probably getting our ass kicked by the federal government. I truly do dread the day. I am just not naive enough to believe that anything else will stop it. So keep being prepared. Keep training. Keep looking into good tactics and way to defend yourself. Keep trying to keep your firearms and purchase things that will help you defend yourself. But just know, unless you're willing to show up for your neighbors, unless you're willing to show up for your state, for your countrymen, we will never stop what's going on. That, guys, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay prepared. God bless. America first. Peace, y'all.